US DOJ gets CAIO, EIO. Zeus's daddy goes Titan mode on LockBit. And 1Pass, 2Pass, Green Pass, Blue Pass. These stories and much more on today's episode of MSP Dispatch.
This episode is presented by OIT VoIP. Enhance your client's communication abilities with our VoIP solution, featuring integrated billing, on-demand training, and live US support. Collaborate seamlessly with Microsoft Teams integration and put your entire phone system in your pocket with Mobile X. Improve your offerings and increase profitability with reliable service for 1/10 of the average MSP acquisition cost. To learn more, visit oit.co or dial 844-CALL-OIT.
Good morning and welcome to the February 23rd episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. I'm Ray Orsini, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Tony Francisco. How you doing, Tony?
Excellent, Ray. Excellent. How are you doing, Ray?
Dude, I'm having like the roughest day. It's like one to back to back. Like, I don't know if you're on my left, I don't know if you're on my right. I don't know if I put one foot in, one foot out, take it all out. I'm completely lost. I don't
People don't understand what's going on. We're sitting here, just so everyone knows, before we're setting up everything to record. I'm like, wait, are you on this side or are you on this side? On this side. And then we're sitting over here and we're sitting there like we're touching fingers like, oh, look, we're touching our finger. Oh. This is how the co-hosts actually communicate before. And then it's like, oh, Wonder Twin Powers, boom, activate, news activated.
We're sitting here trying to figure out which way. Yeah, this is the opposite of professionalism, but absolute fun. Speaking of fun, Tony, I know we have a DOJ story somewhere in the lineup. I was going to cover it, but I know you have experience with that specific department. You want to take it for me?
I think I got this one. Let's talk about the Department of Justice. In my first story from Andrew Goudsward at Reuters.com, the U.S. Department of Justice appointed its first Chief AI Officer, Jonathan Mayer, a professor at Princeton University, to address AI's impact on law enforcement. In a statement, Attorney General Merrick Garland stressed the importance of adapting to technological advancements while ensuring ethical AI use. In line with this, Mayer's role involves advising on AI integration in investigations and prosecutions. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco highlighted AI's potential benefits in tracking drugs and in combating terrorism. However, she also raised concerns about biases and cybersecurity risks. To address these issues, Mayer will lead a team to assess ethics and effectiveness of AI systems and will focus on recruiting more tech experts into the department. Ray, I have, for almost 5 years, worked with the Department of Justice and the network security side, and I could not be happier about this. There was a point, just for the record, it is. There was a point where I had to disassociate myself with the DOJ. I'm not going to mention any administration, but things did not go in the right direction. And I have always had so much confidence in what the potential was for the DOJ. And now I feel like it's moving in the right direction. The fact that they're taking with open arms AI in and understanding the impact, both the positives and the negatives, and creating a framework and creating the controlling mechanisms as this arc of massive acceleration in the AI world is occurring. They're creating the controls needed now. That's just my thoughts. I'm happy. What are your thoughts? Let's unpack it.
No, I think it's fantastic. I love the fact that they're thinking about this stuff in a way that how do I say this? They're thinking about these things in a way that we need to future-proof. There's tons of topics, tons of discussions have taken place regarding AI, ethical use of AI, potential malicious use of AI, and unintended malicious use of AI, right? It happens. It's called negligence. It happens all the time. Surprise, surprise, AI is generally new, and so we're going to make mistakes. So having somebody to sit there and look at the grand picture of things, to actually be in charge of owning how we look at AI, how we adopt AI, being in the conversations of shaping the policies around AI, at a government level, I think is fantastic. I absolutely think it's fantastic. Like you, I applaud the US DOJ for being so early to this, right? I mean, they were obviously watching MSP Dispatch, and that's why they thought it was
100%. And you actually hit it on the head. They're early to it, which is the exact opposite of the DOJ. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, it really is.
So back in my previous days, I worked at a company called GTE MobileNet. We said it stood for Get There Eventually. That was the acronym for that. But the real thing about the DOJ's implementation of an AI framework is understanding the accountability and measuring a framework to address a blast radius. So the one thing you said was negligence and almost kind of an ancillary impact of something using AI. That blast radius has an ROI, not from the return on investment perspective, but from the ripple out impact perspective. And I think the Department of Justice is now creating a mechanism to measure we'll call it the accountability in the event of something like this occurring. So they're trying to get ahead of the curve. And I just love that type of thinking. Not what's here now, not what's next, but what's after that and what's after that. And that is the mindset that we need to be in with AI, because guess what? We're already a little late at that level. And especially with the advent of Sora, you've got, Gronk, you've got ChatGPT, you've got Claude, from Anthropic, you've got, Google's Gemini coming out. You have so many different AI models that we're aware of, but what about the ones that we're not aware of? And how do they plug into each other like Autobots just become something so far more powerful than we've ever considered? Yes. You know what? I believe, I'm just throwing this one out there. So the MSP Media Network has a show. I think it's called, what's it called? Something about AI. It's what's it called?
It's where they round up all the stories, right?
Yes.
AI Roundup.
Yes.
Roundup. There you go.
That's where you go get all the stories. For everyone watching this right now, go look at AI Roundup. Phil, who actually is the host, is amazing at it. And frankly, I don't know how he does his graphics and the videos so well, probably AI cheater. But it is incredible what he puts together, and you will learn so much, so often in small nuggets. Strongly recommend you go. But in the meantime,
Tony, real quick before we move off that, though, I should mention some of the graphics used by our own MSP Dispatch. They're not completely AI driven. AI has a component of it, and we have a graphic artist
manual
who uses AI to start it and then refines it according to our taste. So we are using AI daily.
But it's still manually done. That, just so you know, that's like so authentic. That's it's like vintage, vintage luggage, vintage purses. They're like, oh, that's so awesome. Yeah.
Are we going to see artisanal handmade AI?
You know what? Let's talk about artisanal ransomware. Is there such a thing? Let's talk about it.
That sounds scary. Well, this next story is definitely artisanal and handmade. And our next story, LockBit Ransomware Group taken down in multinational operation, in a story written by Tim Bradshaw for Ars Technica. In a multinational operation known as Operation Kronos, 11 international agencies, including the FBI and the UK's National Crime Agency, have taken down LockBit. The operation successfully locked out LockBit from its systems, leading to arrests, indictments, and identification of key members. In addition, LockBit's core technology, including hacking tools and its dark web homepage, was seized. In the past 4 years, LockBit's thousands of global ransomware attacks on high-profile targets, like corporations, hospitals, and schools, have caused operational disruptions and financial losses. And while significant progress has been made, law enforcement officials continue to pursue remaining members and affiliates of the group, with ongoing efforts to disrupt their operations and infrastructure. Tony, is this a step in the right direction? Is it just pro forma? Do you think there's actually going to be some actual impact, or do you think the void is going to get filled, like when you take out a cocaine kingpin and the space gets filled? What do you think is going to be the fallout of this?
If you name your Operation Kronos, which is, for the edification of everyone here, the father of Zeus, you better come out swinging hard. And I'm just throwing that out. You better not be an anemic attempt at whatever you're doing. You need to come in dedicated to this. And so I think the fact that you have multiple agencies internationally working together. You said FBI, UK's National Crime Agency. I mean, that's not a joke right there. If they're coming down on this, now let's rewind just a hair. The Department of Justice, to our previous story, they're jumping in. We rewind just a little bit more. We have other episodes where we talk about multiple countries getting together to better align themselves in a framework of not only ethical scenarios, but legal scenarios and accountability. This, to me, screams beautiful things are happening. They're moving in the right direction as opposed to being willy-nilly, hand-wavy. They're actually creating and executing policies. I don't know how they're going to be. This is like herding cats, though. I don't know how they're going to be able to actually stay on top of this. What is your prediction on effectiveness of this?
I think it'll slow, not stop. One of our notables we'll talk about later talks about the ConnectWise ScreenConnect vulnerability and how that's being addressed. So these things get easier, and it's not like the remnants of the LockBit organization, their tools and their practices aren't already out there, right? So it's not. Well, you can take the head off the snake. It's more Hydra than it is monolithic, right? So those are the things I worry about. Realistically, the world is full of bad people. I understand stopping somebody for speeding doesn't mean you stopped everybody else on the road. You do what you can, and it's the same thing here. I absolutely applaud the efforts. If we get more of this, more multinational collaboration where we're going after these things en masse, and we're showing that regardless what city, what country, what continent you're on, you're going to be addressed and prosecuted. It's nothing but a good thing for me. I'd love to see that.
I agree. I think the strategic implications alone are substantial. I think that is in line with the name Kronos. Huge hats off to the person who said Kronos. That's the name. We're coming in hard. But getting the FBI as a single entity to do something in conjunction with another country, because you're now kind of serving two masters, and the more you line up, the more struggles that you're going to have on ownership, on processes, on priorities, on the mechanisms for the implementation, the tracking, the assessment, and then the end accountability.
So, Tony, let me ask you something real quick before we move on. You and I both know we've both been in charge of architecting and designing policies and procedures. As we all know, the first one goes at a slow pace because you're defining everything and getting going with it. But then the next one goes faster and faster and faster, given that they've already wrangled all these organizations together, these countries together, and they have successfully executed an operation at that scale. Do you think we're going to see more of these occur with more frequency?
That is an amazing question. I think I implied that from the beginning when the countries were first starting together to talk about it. And if we rewind maybe even 6 months ago, we had the AI leaders, and this is when Sam Altman was leaving, or not leaving, when he was kicked out and then brought back. I think just prior to that, he was bringing attention to it, which brought the leaders together. Then that was a distract and evade mechanism, which pulled everything offline. Eventually, everyone got back together. Then the United States specifically started following the lead of another country. I won't mention that. No one's supposed to talk about that because we were first. But then the United States got together, and then multiple countries got together. I believe it was 11. Got together to address that, and then we're seeing this over, and so you're hitting it on the head. The strategic implications alone, we could talk about this all day. I know we've gone too far, but this is music to my ears. You know what you should talk about?
What?
Something simple like passwords.
Another LastPass story?
No, this is not LastPassy. Thanks, Ray. In a story from Kyle Wiggers at TechCrunch.com, 1Password a top password management software developer, has purchased Kolide, an endpoint security platform, for an undisclosed sum. Kolide's founder and CEO, Jason Meller, along with all 30 employees, will join 1Password, with Meller taking the job of VP of Product. The acquisition aims to deal with the security issues posed by increasingly mixed and device-friendly workforce. Kolide specializes in device security and contextual access management, checking with device health at login to ensure safe access to the company's apps and data. The endpoint cybersecurity sector, where Kolide operates, is quickly growing and is expected to reach $23 billion US by 2027. Kolide's platform offers endpoint security alerts, fixes, and personalized privacy features via Slack using the open source Osquery project. With over $250 million in yearly recurring revenue and plans to add 250 jobs this year, 1Password is set for further growth in the cybersecurity market. Ray, let's just lift the hood just a little bit and peek into this. Not LastPassy, which is good. And if you don't know LastPassy, I'm going to tell you right now, is copyrighted by Ray in some respect or another. LastPassy, which has nothing to do with passwords, more of the repeated failure to communicate exploitations. But we'll get to that at a later time. Two, the fact that we are now witnessing firsthand the expansion of context of a password. It's not just the password itself, but it's also what you're using the password on, going into, and the health check of that device. And that's what Kolide did. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think we'll see further expansion? Is this a good move? Or is this just some more white noise and cybersecurity, let's make some more money?
If there was ever a technology where I would say could benefit from the use of AI, it's this exact one. Being able to correlate millions of data points to make instantaneous decisions for the better protection of the end user and the overall organization, I think is phenomenal. Not saying they're using AI today, but if I'm a betting person, somebody with $250 million, yeah, they're probably going down that path. But I see the need, right? It's no longer, do I know who you are? It's no longer, can you prove who you are? It's no longer, I've checked you against my database that you're authorized to do it, right? The traditional IAM or AAA. But here, the device is healthy. The device has the proper connections. There's no concerns about the network connection. There's no concerns about DNS. There's no concerns about the certificate store. And it's using the proper certificate store. And it matches the elements on the wherever it's authenticating against. That is amazing. I absolutely love that. I can't wait for this to get to the MSP space, honestly. This is a huge thing.
Oh, you just stole it from me. You just ripped it out right from underneath me. I'm like, just hurry, finish your elegant waxing, your poetic waxing of all this great stuff. When's it coming to the MSPs? When are we going to have access to this?
Oh. Yeah, I mean, but the need is there, right? Like, how many times have we talked about MSP used to be about 10 years behind enterprise. Now I'd say we're probably 5 or 6 years behind. It's catching up. But this is one of those I'd love to see zero delay in getting to the MSP world. And I'm bullish on it because 1Pass is already used by a lot of MSPs. They do have an MSP program. The quality of it is questionable, but they absolutely have an MSP program. Listen, they're not LastPassy. Okay, I'm being optimistic, damn it. So
why, for example, why can't Bitwarden doing it? Because I'm of the opinion, so I like 1Password's great. Bitwarden, my personal preference, because I'm not a Mac guy, and
right. Yeah.
1Password's Mac. But to be blunt, they did an amazing job at this. They also did have some security issues and concerns, and we've talked about that on the show.
Yeah.
The Bitwarden, not only does it provide a hosted service solution, and it is open source, which allows everyone to beat it up and identify those exploits, but you can actually self-host it as well. So some paranoid personnel, don't know anyone who would be totally neurotic and paranoid who would self-host. Why would you do that? But where you not only double, triple NAT it, but have a different security cert on each one with the validation based on the source.
So people don't realize this about Tony's data centers. He has 2-armed guards. They're Swiss guards, like you have at the Vatican. There are 2 Swiss guards standing, and they examine the packets one by hand. Truly artisanal.
They smell them. They smell them. They go.
They sniff the packets. I mean, you want to talk about IDS.
just good job, 1Password. Everyone, please get a good password manager. Please, in the MSP audience, offer this to your customers. And by that, I mean mandate it. And if they don't use a password manager, say, listen, I can't do business with you because I have a certain standard where people use, I don't know, laws and electricity and maybe the internet. There's certain things that you have to use in order for me to do business with you. Password manager should be one of those top ranking things. But another top ranking thing, notables.
Oh, I love notables. And they're never LastPassy.
They're never LastPassy.
In my first notable mention, ScreenConnect critical bug now under attack as exploit code emerges, written by Bill Toulis for Bleeping Computer. ConnectWise has confirmed multiple compromised ScreenConnect accounts. In an update, Huntress warned of easy exploitation of vulnerabilities, observing over 8,800 vulnerable servers on Monday, decreasing to about 3,800 in the next day. After disclosure, exploits emerged swiftly, prompting Huntress to analyze flaws and demonstrate exploit creation simplicity. They located flaws by code examination, including unauthorized attack to the setup wizard and zip slip, allowing access to sensitive files. ConnectWise advised immediate updates to mitigate risks to on-premise servers, and clarified instances on ScreenConnect.com cloud or hostedrmm.com have already been secured. My next notable mention, Microsoft's upcoming custom chip will be made by Intel, written by Richard Lai for Engadget. Intel Foundry Services recently secured a deal with Microsoft for its 18A fabrication process, which is set for an upcoming in-house chip, likely by 2025. Although the chip specifics remain undisclosed, they align with Microsoft Azure's Maya AI Accelerator and Azure Cobalt 100 CPU server chips. Intel aims for manufacturing readiness of its 18A in the second half of 2024, promising efficiency improvements, innovative backside power solutions, and potential for the next-gen Cobalt CPU. CEO Pat Gelsinger envisions Intel Foundry as a major player in the contract chip making market, with clients like MediaTek, Qualcomm, and Amazon already on board.
In my first notable mention from Carl Franzen at venturebeat.com. Well, kind of. Just days after impressing the world with photorealistic demos of the AI video generation model Sora, OpenAI encounters a setback. ChatGPT began producing nonsensical outputs, leaving users baffled. Some outputs mixed Spanish and English, while others invented words or repeated phrases. Users even compared it to eerie extraterrestrial graffiti from Annihilation. Although jokes about a robot uprising circulated, many saw it as a glitch undermining AI credibility. OpenAI acknowledged the issue, identified it, and deployed a fix. And despite a quick response, doubts linger about using ChatGPT for critical tasks. In my next notable mention, from Richard Lawler at TheVerge.com, Google is introducing a revamped sign-in page featuring a more modern look and feel with a light material design makeover. While the sign-in steps remain unchanged, the layout is now horizontally aligned for better compatibility across various screen sizes. Despite the visual updates, users will still enter passwords or other authentication methods as before, with no immediate shift to passwordless logins. Starting on February 21st and concluding on March 4th, 2024, this rollout offers no opt-out option, affecting both workspace admins and personal account users. Only outdated browsers may retain the previous login page post-update.
Today we're taking a look at the latest development in generative text-to-video models with OpenAI's announcement of Sora. And no, not that Sora. This Sora has much smaller feet. So Sora is not out for public use yet, but the reel that OpenAI has posted with examples of what it's capable of has the internet buzzing with excitement and, as always, trepidation about what this new model might bring. Sora, OpenAI's text-to-video model, is breaking new ground by transforming simple text prompts into high-definition videos. Whether it's a serene, snowy Tokyo or a dramatic prehistoric scene, Sora brings imagination to vivid reality. And you can watch the entire reel of example videos online right now on OpenAI's site. And to think where we've come from with text-to-video models in less than a year, these results are highly impressive. Building on the shoulders of giants like DALL-E 3, Sora operates on a denoising latent diffusion model, cutting-edge tech that slices through videos in 3D patches to bring to life the most intricate of narratives. While Sora's potential is sky-high in creative fields, it's not without its challenges. The model's current limitation is simulating complex physics and understanding causality. Remind us that AI still has a long way to go. As always, if you watch the details closely, you can find those AI tells that give these away as generative content. For instance, in the video, this woman's legs like swap places at one point, and what is going on with the guy in the back? Is he wearing a pillow suit or something? I don't know. There are plenty of amazing upcoming events taking place across the community, so let's see what's happening this week. On Tuesday the 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, CyberWise Employees presents How to Stay Safe Online. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, the 28th through the 29th, 2 in-person events starting with ASCII Edge in Costa Mesa, California, as well as Channel Pro SMB Summit in Chicago, Illinois. And coming from the MSP Media Network this week we have, in case you missed it, yesterday there was a new episode of the Tech Bar with our slightly delayed Valentine's Day special with Cynthia Schreiner of Cyber QP. And then later today at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, a new episode of MSP Community Live, followed shortly after at noon by Bits and Books, episode 6, about the book Dare to Lead. Coming March 4th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, a special channel program webinar all about finding new revenue opportunities via automation and process, featuring Greg Sharp, CEO and founder of Zen Contract, Frank Gurney, Channel Director of Security Studio, and Tara Rummer, Director of Community and Events at EmiBot, with special guest moderator Ray Orsini, CEO of OIT VoIP and founder of the MSP Media Network. Follow the link in the show notes to save your seat and learn proven strategies to increase your monthly recurring revenue.
So how'd you like today's show? If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. And if you didn't, go and hit it 3 times, 5 times. You know the deal. Keep the Fibonacci sequence. And if you want to hear more, go and hit that subscribe button on the YouTubes or your favorite podcatcher. Did you know we also have a Discord where we post stories all week? You can tell us your favorite stories and even vote on which ones we'll cover. As my friend Rich Banky says, make sure to tell a friend. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at MSP Media TV. Have any questions? Email news@MSPMediaTV for answers on the next episode, or leave us a voicemail, 833-MSP-Network. All right, Tony, we got through it. We had fun. Tons of shenanigans, but we actually got it done. Like, not bad.
Got it
Congratulations,
done.
sir.
We created educational information, dialogue. It was charismatic. It was wildly inappropriate on the back.
Tony, we're talking about MSP Dispatch, not something.
I thought the bar night. I thought we were talking about bar night. No, I love doing this show. I love talking about the latest and greatest topics, because not only, just FYI, does it allow us to talk about these and share our thoughts with people, but it also gives us other peripheral items, and people are constantly suggesting, what about this? What about that? What about this? So it's not just the, hey, these are the 3 things that we pick, and then, the 2 notables from each of us. There are a dozen plus stories every single day that we're reading, and it keeps us on top of things, and it keeps my my therapist busy with his bill. And
do you get on your invoice for the insurance where they have the explanation of benefits, $5,000 LastPassy treatment?
Oh my gosh, you need to. How do we copyright that without a lawsuit? Like that is beautiful.
I don't know. But for now, Tony, thank you so much for everything, dude. I appreciate you. I appreciate all your input all throughout the week, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
Be safe, everyone.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.
Users even compared it to eerily Wait, hold on.
They located flaws by code examination, including unauthorized access to the setup wizard and zip slip, allowing access to sensitive files.